Beginning Monday, January 2nd.
This is the CBS Evening News. Bob Schieffer sitting in tonight for Dan Rather. Good evening. The Federal Aviation Administration ordered sweeping new airport security measures today for U.S. airlines in Europe and the Middle East. All this in the wake of last week's Pan Am Flight 103 bombing disaster over Lockerbie, Scotland. We have two reports, beginning with Mark Phillips.
Passengers checking in for flights on U.S. airlines in London this morning were already subject to tougher security ordered by British authorities, but it was nothing compared to the new procedures ordered by the Federal Aviation Administration in Washington this afternoon.
These new directives are comprehensive and far exceed existing international standards.
The new measures are to be effective within 48 hours and include every piece of checked baggage to be X-rayed or physically inspected. All bags will have to be matched with passengers. If passengers don't board, their bags will be offloaded. Passengers will have no access to their bags once they're checked. There will be random selection of passengers for closer scrutiny. Their bags will be opened, emptied, and X-rayed. New security machines, which the FAA has been testing, will be brought into general use more quickly. These machines use neutron rays to spot plastic explosives that X-rays miss. The FAA is ordering these measures to be instituted by U.S. airlines at their facilities at all airports in Western Europe and the Middle East. These new security procedures will take time.
Passengers will be required to check in earlier, perhaps as much as an hour.
In announcing its new measures, the FAA says it is trying to restore the balance between safety and passenger convenience that was so tragically upset by the Pan Am bombing. Even so, the FAA admits no security system can be 100% effective. What the agency is doing, it says, is adding depth to security procedures that have been found wanting. Mark Phillips, CBS News, Washington.
The new rules won't affect U.S. airports, but in the wake of the Pan Am 103 disaster, travelers here appeared ready to accept almost any inconvenience in the name of security.
I would like the tighter security.
Even if it meant delays or inconvenience?
Yes, I would.
Oh, no, I think it's good. There should be. They should tighten up. And if it causes an extra 20 minutes, so what? It's your life.
Among the early passengers who will face the new security measures abroad, an Alabama high school band bound for London from Miami.
To be honest, it would be a hassle, but I guess to ensure my safety, especially going overseas, would be very important.
Today's announcement moved U.S. carriers closer to the stringent security rules that have covered Israel's El Al and a few other airlines. To American security officials, that is good news.
The airline industry is a worldwide industry, international, and we are only as strong as the weakest link.
But it is security at a price, and today the airline industry coupled its praise for the new measures with a warning.
There will be some additional costs. They will be borne by the airlines themselves, and to some extent, some of that will be passed on to the customers.
Late today, an industry spokesman called on the FAA to impose the same security standards on foreign air carriers serving the U.S. as those now facing American airlines in Western Europe and the Middle East. David Dow, CBS News, Los Angeles.
While the White House issued a written statement on the Pan Am bombing yesterday, President Reagan himself is yet to make any comment in public. But the president-elect was talking today. George Bush takes office in just 3 weeks, and if the saboteurs are tracked down, a decision on retaliation will be his. Deborah Potter reports.
From President-elect Bush today, a stern warning to the bombers of Flight 103.
See card and punish firmly, decisively, those who did this, if you can ever find them.
It's a big if, but U.S. officials are narrowing the search, saying they're now almost certain the bombing was carried out by terrorists, not common criminals.
Which groups might have a motive for this kind of an attack, and which groups might have the technology or capabilities, which groups have a track record of attacking aircraft.
Officials insist the chances are pretty good that they can find out who was responsible, but intelligence analysts are skeptical.
It's not going to be easy because whoever did it may want to mask his, or if it's a group, its own identity and point the finger of suspicion and blame towards someone else.
Even when a terrorist is identified, U.S. efforts to bring justice to bear have often been frustrated. In the case of the Achille Lauro cruise ship, the U.S. arranged the arrest of the hijackers who killed an American passenger, but the Italians let the mastermind, Abu Abbas, go free. In the case of TWA Flight 847, in which an American was murdered, the U.S. tried and failed to extradite a suspect, Mohammed Hamadi, from West Germany. And a suspect in a Pan Am bombing in Hawaii is now in a Greek jail, but the U.S. has had no luck in extraditing Mohammed Rashid, who's due to be released in 6 weeks.
Military retaliation remains an option, but sources say if the trail leads to Syria, it's extremely unlikely. So American officials face not only a long investigation, but also the frustration of knowing they may never get even. Deborah Potter, CBS News, Washington.
Britain's Foreign Secretary appealed for international cooperation today in the search for the Pan Am bombers. CBS News chief European correspondent Tom Fenton is following the hunt for clues there, and here is his report.
As more evidence from the wreckage was hauled away today for forensic examination, British police launched a murder investigation and warned it will be long and painstaking. A huge international hunt is underway to determine who placed the bomb on Pan Am 103 and why. With the aid of the FBI, the background of each passenger will be traced. And since the plane exploded over land rather than water, security experts believe it may be possible to find enough evidence to eventually track down the terrorists. One expert expressed surprise that the Finnish police have dismissed as a hoax the phone warning that originally alerted the State Department. 3 weeks ago, a caller told the American embassy in Helsinki that a bomb would be placed on a Pan-American flight originating in Frankfurt within 2 weeks.
And within maybe 2 weeks, a bomb actually detonates on board one of the aircraft traveling Frankfurt to New York. That to me is too much of a coincidence.
At London's Heathrow Airport today, all American carriers introduced stepped-up security measures ordered by the British government and now by U.S. authorities. They include baggage checks on selected flights. Pan Am brought in a mobile X-ray unit and was apparently screening all checked baggage before placing it in the cargo hold. But one airline official described the measures as mostly window dressing because more foolproof methods were too expensive. And a leading expert said he was still worried that not enough is being done by European governments.
I think there's a lot of complacency, particularly in Britain and Western Europe. You know, officials will tell you that everything in the garden is lovely, there was nothing wrong with the security, they can't understand what happened, but they're not going to do anything much to improve it. Well, that is a really head-in-the-sand attitude.
The American ambassador here flew back to the United States today on a British Airways Concorde. When asked whether that was a reflection on the security of American carriers, an embassy spokesman had no comment. Tom Fenton, CBS News, London.
2 French children who were held captive for more than a year in Lebanon were finally released today. The 2 sisters were reunited with their father in Libya, reportedly following an appeal from Muammar Gaddafi. They later flew home to France. Their mother and a baby sister born in captivity are still being held by Abu Nidal's Palestinian terror group. They were abducted aboard a yacht in the Mediterranean last year, along with 5 Belgians, all of them accused of spying for Israel. In the 3 weeks since the Armenian earthquake, estimates of the dead have ranged as high as 55,000. But today, Soviet officials said it appears the final toll will be less than half that. The Soviets said nearly 25,000 bodies have been recovered, and they believe only about 100 more are still buried in the rubble. Still to come on the CBS Evening News tonight, Rita Braver on the Choctaw Indian twins and why their case may be important to the survival of many tribes, and Harold Dow on America's costly prison system and one state that's making its jails make money.
Your dreams of instant wealth may come true at American Family next month. $10 million, all yours. Find out on American Family's Get Rich Night, January 27th. Watch TV for your numbers when I announce the winning numbers for not just 1, but 7 big prizes. You get 7 chances to win big. So be sure to enter America's only sweepstakes with my picture. It could make you super rich. $10 million rich. Don't miss out. Enter today.
Taking home whole wheat total?
Special K.
Hope you're hungry, because you'll need almost 3 boxes of Special K to equal the vitamin and mineral nutrition in just 1 box of Total.
I've got Nutri-Grain.
You'll need 4 boxes. And you?
Just shredded wheat.
12 boxes. Total, one bowl, 100%. No other cereal has more vitamin and mineral nutrition. Next time, pick up Total. If it's whole wheat Total, it's Total Nutrition.
There's nothing like a bowl of Campbell's soup.
My treat?
To warm things up.
That's what Campbell's soups are. Ooh, good.
The day may come when all dishwashers will get your dishes sparkling clean and run quietly enough to let you talk on the phone. But isn't it nice to know Whirlpool has dishwashers that will do it today?
A government commission came out today with a long-awaited list no state wants to be on, a proposed list naming dozens of U.S. military bases to be closed or scaled back. The aim, of course, is to save money, but there's been a furious reaction from the communities that stand to lose jobs and money. Pentagon correspondent David Martin has our report.
Norton Air Force Base in California, with 7,000 military and civilian employees, is the largest base on the Commission's hit list. But there are many, many others, right down to the offices of the Defense Mapping Agency in suburban Washington. In all, the Commission today recommended the complete or partial closing of 91 bases for an estimated annual saving of $693 million. The report is a testament to the waste and inefficiency which has crept into this country's defense establishment.
We found that certain missions were split between a number of bases. It didn't make any sense when they should have been consolidated and put in one base.
Some of the bases are household names. The picturesque Presidio in San Francisco, Fort Dix in New Jersey, where generations of draftees went through basic training. But today, these bases are contributing more to the local economy than the nation's defense.
It's a big shock to me because I thought it will never happen.
For some who had expected the axe to fall, the news was shockingly good. Loring Air Force Base in Maine, for instance, once targeted for closing, but today spared by the Commission.
We'll be here another 20 years.
The bases slated for closing represent only a tiny fraction of the 4,200 military properties in the U.S., and the estimated savings of $5.6 billion over 20 years is barely a decimal point.
The moral of that story is closing military bases doesn't save the amount of money that was speculated.
The home states of both the House and Senate Armed Services Committee chairmen would be virtually untouched by the closings, as would the home state of the Senate Majority Leader. Whether by accident or design, that should help the hit list get through Congress.
Unless Congress does accept this recommendation of the Commission and the Secretary of Defense, then we'll lose credibility in the eyes of the American public.
If Congress goes along, the closings would begin in 1990, the first in more than a decade. Given the political unpopularity of base closings, they are likely to be the last for some time to come. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
One of the military bases on today's proposed hit list is Fort Sheridan, Illinois. Gary Reeves has the reaction there.
Fort Sheridan is nestled between two of Chicago's most affluent suburbs. With its golf course and mile-long Lake Michigan shoreline, it has long been the target of budget cutters. But today's news surprised many people here.
It still kind of catches you off guard. It's sad news.
It's kind of sad, for my son especially, because he likes going to school here and he has a lot of friends.
This base was established 100 years ago to quell the riots after the Chicago fire. Now there are mostly administrators here in charge of the 4th Army and the nation's recruiting. If Fort Sheridan is closed, those jobs will be moved to Fort Benjamin Harrison in Indiana.
I think it's going to mean that I'll just pack up and move and do my job somewhere else.
But the 1,500 civilians employed here will have a harder time. They can move with their jobs or find new ones. A tough choice for people like Mike Campbell, a marksmanship coordinator who wants to stay because of his family.
It's a hardship. I won't be able to find a job doing this in private industry.
And in the nearby town of Highwood, some small businessmen predict a 25% loss in revenue.
When you take about 3,500 people, potential customers, out of an area immediately, you're going to have an effect.
While both of Illinois' senators are pushing to keep Fort Sheridan open, the Presidential Commission says closing it would save taxpayers $40 million a year. Gary Reeves, CBS News, Highwood, Illinois.
Israeli Prime Minister Shamir said today he hopes to launch a new Mideast peace initiative within 2 months. He proposed that Egypt mediate peace talks involving Israel, Arab states, and a group of Palestinians. The United States and the Soviet Union also would have a role. Shamir said that he would consider allowing Palestinians in the occupied territories to elect representatives to the talks, but he would not deal with the PLO.
Why do you take aspirin more than once a week?
Because after 1 day of tennis, I can have 3 days of aches and pains. But when you take aspirin that often, you wonder about aspirin stomach upset.
Well, today, there's a better aspirin product for you. Try Buffered Bufferin. Better than plain aspirin because it's 100% aspirin plus 3 buffers to help protect against stomach upset aspirin can cause.
You know, it really is better.
Try Buffered Bufferin if you take aspirin more than once a week.
On your path to success, reach for America's strongest financial helping hand, Citicorp and Citibank. More American families own their own homes and attend college with our help, and more get what they want with MasterCard and Visa cards from Citibank than from any other company. We also serve millions of customers in every major marketplace worldwide. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
Still haven't entered your Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes, huh? If you don't enter fast, you'll miss your last chance at $10 million January 31st.
Gee!
Somebody's absolutely going to win it, or maybe you want somebody else to win the $10 million from Publishers Clearinghouse.
With every MCI bill, you not only see how much you saved, you get detailed information on every call from every phone. You can even get accounting codes. Anything less, it's just an AT&T bill.
Until you call, you'll never know how much better a long-distance company can be.
Coast Guard said today that rescuers were able to save 3 crewmen in heavy North Atlantic seas after a container ship sank, but 2 crewmen died and 6 others are still missing. The spokesman said the Lloyd Bermuda sank last night after its cargo shifted in weather described as horrendous. Searchers from a merchant ship came to the rescue after a Coast Guard jet spotted the survivors in the water waving flashlights. It is estimated that 1 million people are in prisons in this country. The inmate population is growing 5 times the crime rate. Overcrowded prisons breed danger, of course, but one state has come up with at least a partial answer. Harold Dow has the story in part 2 of his special report on America's overcrowded prisons.
You have any braids or ponytails? Take them out when you're unchained.
It's like a warehouse, really.
Next 2, let's go. Bed number, last name.
There are so many women in here that they can't house them.
You got 4 fingerprint cards to sign here, sir.
Tell me what it's like.
It's hell.
The complaint is uniform from virtually every prisoner in the country. Too many people, not enough room, a dangerous place with dangerous people. Prisoner number C70600.
You know what I'm saying? I've been coming to the system since I was 12 years old. I know the system inside out.
Eric Poole is serving 8 years for first-degree burglary, but he also has a long list of prior felony convictions and a warning for first-time offenders.
Being that the system is overcrowded, you stuck with us. And see, it's emergency, we kill us. Look here, you won't make it in a cell with me.
This is the type of hardened criminal that some minor offenders end up sharing a cell with.
Without effective rehabilitation programs, we cannot expect prisons to solve the problem of crime. What we can expect is people will come out angrier and more hostile than when they came in.
There are other sanctions and ways to punish offenders than simply prison beds. And as prison beds become more costly, I think legislators and policymakers have to look hard at the reality of those costs.
Washington State has found a way to do just that. A 1984 law makes minor criminals pay back society in money or community service with minimal time in jail. And with fewer people in prison, there's now a profit to be made renting out space. This is a typical cell in the state of Washington's Rent-A-Cell program. 60 square feet for about $60 a day. Statewide, it means $20 million in revenues this year. That money goes for social services. Prisoners are sent from Ohio, Oregon, Colorado, and even Washington, D.C. That's where Billy Littlejohn was caught selling drugs.
Well, I'm a long way from my family and everything, but I can do it any way I want to do it, as long as I do my time and get on out of here.
Are we as a society locking too many people up?
No. I think as a society we have a right to say, I want to walk the streets, and I want my children to have some freedom and not be fearful of burglary and robbery and assault.
And the people of California agree. Just last month they passed a $1.3 billion bond issue for new prison construction. This state already has 75,000 people behind bars, and judges have been sending twice the number to prison than they did 5 years ago.
We cannot keep pouring all of this money into bricks and mortar and then waste human lives and have them come out worse than when they went in.
According to the National Council on Crime and Delinquency, it costs $25,000 a year to house, feed, and supervise one prisoner. Adding inflation, that means taxpayers will spend more than $1 million for each prisoner in jail over a 30-year period. In the current prison construction boom nationwide, more than $2.5 billion is being spent for new facilities.
Our recommendation is that we regard prison space as a scarce resource, like energy and water and trees, and reserve it for the truly dangerous.
There is concern because nationwide, 850 additional criminals are sent to prison every week. Experts say new creative solutions are needed in a hurry before this country runs out of space and money, and before prisoners run out of patience. Harold Dow, CBS News, Vacaville, California.
I woke up with this killer pressure from a sinus cold.
Sinus cold.
Pain.
Pressure. Ingestion.
Couldn't breathe.
Pain. Ingestion. Pressure.
The pain was awful.
Congestion. Pressure. Pressure.
I took new maximum strength Dristan. I'm here.
Discover new maximum strength Dristan. It combines two strong medicines to drain sinus cavities, unclog congestion, to relieve pressure and pain.
And it won't make you drowsy.
New maximum strength Dristan. Strong medicine for tough sinus colds.
Kids live in the present, lost in their games, curious beyond belief. Kids make life interesting, to say the least. And life being what it is, and the world beyond the schoolyard swing, it's well worth having the peace of mind only this card brings. The one from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Those who have it feel better than those who don't.
I've got big news for prune lovers who also love cereal. Actually, it's kind of small news when you look at it. It's Sunsweet bite-sized pitted prunes. Try them on your cereal, and you'll agree Sunsweet bite-size is just the right size.
Looking for whole wheat total?
Or shredded wheat.
You'll need 12 boxes to equal the vitamin and mineral nutrition in just one box of Total. No other cereal has more.
I think I'll have Total, sweetheart. Total.
If it's whole wheat Total, it's Total Nutrition.
When the U.S. Supreme Court returns from recess next month, one of the first cases the justices will hear concerns the fate of two American Indian children, twins who were placed for adoption 3 years ago. They were adopted by a Mississippi couple outside the tribe, and now the tribe wants them back. Law correspondent Rita Braver reports.
Big girl, help Mama. For Joan Holyfield, life with Beth and Seth is bittersweet. Days filled with the joy of caring for her adopted twins.
I try to teach them every day something new.
Days filled, too, with the dread that they will be taken from her.
They have made my life.
3-year-old Beth and Seth are full-blooded Choctaw Indians. Days after their birth in a Mississippi Gulf Coast hospital, their unmarried natural parents gave up custody of them to Joan Holyfield and her late husband. Mississippi courts approved the adoption, but the Choctaw tribe is still trying to get the children back. Federal law says that tribes, rather than states, have jurisdiction over the adoption of any Indian child who resides on a reservation.
It's very important to us because Indian children are unique. They have their own language, they have their own culture, they have their own heritage,
because of our small population, if our young people are adopted out into the non-Indian world, then that kind of movement affects the resources of the tribe.
But the tribe is now asking the U.S. Supreme Court to apply the law beyond the physical boundaries of the reservation. The Choctaws say that even though the children were born off the reservation and never lived there, it's still their legal residence, since it's where both natural parents reside.
It's similar to the situation with so many military people and other American citizens who give birth to children overseas. Their residence and domicile at law is that of the natural parent here in the United States.
Joan Holyfield argues that the Supreme Court should honor the wishes of the natural parents, who chose her rather than the tribe to raise the twins.
If you knew how long I had wanted children, I had 3 miscarriages and could not carry a child full term. And these children have fulfilled my whole life. I live for them.
But Indians from all over the country, Chippewa, Navajo, Sioux, Apache, have filed statements in support of the Choctaws. They say that with a high percentage of Indian children now born out of wedlock, the Supreme Court's decision in this case could well affect the survival of many tribes. Rita Braver, CBS News, on the Mississippi Choctaw Reservation.
And finally tonight, the latest in the continuing outdoor adventures of President-elect Bush. After 3 days of quail hunting in Texas, Mr. Bush flew to Alabama for some bass fishing. He did not catch any fish while the photographers were around, but he did catch a treat. In fact, he caught this one twice. Since it is a fish story, we'll make up a happy ending and say the fishing got better when all the photographers left. That's the news. I'm Bob Schieffer, sitting in for Dan Rather. Good night.
The finer things in life. Happily, some are affordable, like Grey Poupon Dijon mustard. Grey Poupon is so fine, it's even made with white wine. Its original French Dijon recipe adds distinctive flavor to beef, pork, and poultry, salad dressing and sauces, and of course, sandwiches. So enjoy one of life's finer pleasures.
Pardon me, would you have any Grey Poupon? But of course.
Grey Poupon, one of life's finer pleasures.
He strained his back real bad about a week ago, and I had this free sample of Metapron.
I couldn't believe how fast it worked.
I had this awful headache, and Metapron fixed me right up. I have arthritis pain sometimes, and it's nice to know Metapron is there.
I heard it's got what's in Motrin.
Metapron is for tough pain. It has ibuprofen, the same medicine as Motrin, and nothing's proven faster.
You know, not very long ago, I would just grin and bear it. Now it's all I use.
Metapron just works.
When the pain gets tough, get Metapron.
Why haven't you sent in your Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes yet?
Oh, I don't stand a chance.
Just one chance, we won $10 million.
Now, Publishers Clearinghouse gives you 5 chances to win big money fast. On January 31st, you could win $10 million. But to win fast, you've got to enter fast. So look for this house and enter the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes today.
Don't pass up all those chances. Come on, send it in.
America for sale, a foreign invasion, and some sound the alarm.
We're going to lose every damn job we got in this country.
48 hours tonight.
This is CBS.
I'm John Lindgren, and next on Eyewitness News, Metro Police are on the trail of a suspect in the hit-and-run death of a 9-year-old. We'll have a complete report. Family members of a murdered store clerk say his concern for the safety of others cost him his life.